Hello, this is your first time. I'm Kyle. I am one half of the Wandering Shores. What about a boondocking spot just minutes away from Sunbeam Hot Springs? We are here in Stanley, Idaho, and that's right, folks. This could be right outside your front door. We drove down this morning to check out Sunbeam Hot Springs and also tell you about some great boondocking along Yankee Fork Road. This is going to be about 35 minutes outside of Stanley, Idaho, but there are some fantastic boondocking sites and we're going to take you along. If this is your first time, Michelle and I have been boondocking across the country for almost 5 years now, and we like to share all of the best spots that we've found on our journeys. We've also got a website, thewanderingshores.com, where we share an interactive map so you can very easily scan around and see what sites we've done videos on and check them out. So let me take you on to North Fork Dispersed Camping, and don't forget to come and check out Sunbeam Hot Springs. All right, everyone, I'm turning in off 75 that leads you to Stanley, and I am turning on to Yankee Fork Road. And a couple things about this drive in. First of all, pretty much rigs of any size are going to be perfectly fine. The first 5 miles or so are paved, which makes it very nice. There's some twists and turns, as you can see, but it is a paved road. As you drive along here, you're going to see a couple National Forest campgrounds. Most of them are going to be off to the right. And then after about 5 miles, you're going to hit the gravel. It's actually very well maintained gravel. Speed limit's 35 miles an hour. You can easily go 35, no issues. And that's when kind of most of the boondocking starts. You're running right along Yankee Fork River. And eventually, as we get a little bit further up here, you're going to start to see large piles of rocks. These are what are referred to as the tailings from when the Yankee Fork Gold Dredge was dredging the riverbed here, looking for gold back in the primarily the 1940s and early 1950s. Much of the campsite review that I'm going to do is really going to be done from the inside of our RV on Google Maps. This is a very large and expansive area, and it's just easier and quicker to kind of show you what it looks like from an aerial view. However, I am going to take you through at least a section of this drive so that you can get a better picture for what to expect. But obviously, Class A's, Class B's, C's, truck campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels are going to have no problem. There's really no clearance issues along this road. And actually, when you get out into the area where the gravel road starts, there's even fewer because there are no trees. So it's perfect for solar and the ever-famous Starlink. Here off to the right, you'll see Flat Rock Campground. This is a National Forest campground. So primarily those sites are extremely small. If you're a truck camper or something, you could fit in there. I'm not actually sure if there is a fee for that. I'll be checking and I'll let you know when we get back on the inside. A lot of these National Forest campgrounds actually are completely free, but I'll check on Flat Rock when we get inside and do the aerial overview. As I always do, I'm also going to walk through all of the resources that are available in the area. And if by chance you haven't already seen it, we did a campsite review for Salmon River spots 1 through 3 about 2.5 years ago, and we'll link that not only in a little shot up here in the corner, but at the end of the video. So if you want to check that out for some other amazing boondocking that is in the area and a little bit closer into Stanley. But out here you got a lot more peace and quiet, and it's not going to be even partially as congested as it is closer into town. If you enjoy free camping and boondocking across the United States, well, we've got a lot more for you. If you haven't already checked out thewanderingshores.com, and we have an interactive Google map there where you can see all of the spots we've done campsite reviews of, as well as things to do in the area. All right, we are right here, the Pavement Ends sign. There's a small little campground over here off to the right. The Challis Pole Flat National Forest campground, and then we transition, sorry folks, into the gravel road, speed limit 35 miles an hour. This is where you're going to start keeping an eye out. There are a lot of little side streets, and you can start to see here on the left, you can start to see some of the pilings of the rock. There's a little pull out right there if you're just doing an overnight. But once you get a little bit further up here, there's some really nice boondocking sites for stays up to 14 days. If you're a fisherman, along here you're going to see a lot of little ponds off to both sides of the road. Those ponds are the old ponds from the gold dredge when it was looking for gold. And one thing I found out from our friends who work camp up here, they actually stock these ponds. We're like one right there to the right. They stock these ponds with trout. So if you've got a fishing license, feel free to catch yourself some fish while you're here. It's like catching fish in a barrel when the ponds are, you know, only about 50 feet across, but probably about 40 feet deep. Good. There's a community of cabins here on the right-hand side. Those are some of the old staff cabins for the miners that worked out here when they were searching for silver and gold. If you get a chance, be sure to stop by the Yankee Fork Gold Dredge and take a tour. It's super inexpensive. It's like $5 a person. You'll find out all the history about this area. Those folks know their stuff. And if you get a chance, you might even run into Billy, whose father worked out here for a long time, and he grew up out here on the dredge, so he knows all the inner workings and secrets of this amazing part of Idaho. Okay, as we're kind of going down this road, I'll show you some of these spots from the overhead, but keep an eye on these little roads. Sometimes they're between the rock pilings, and you can kind of go down and camp on the side of the river or the pond that might be down there. But there are a couple very clear designated spots that are on the left-hand side as you're driving up north on Yankee Fork. Okay, we are about 6 miles in, maybe 6.5, and the first primary boondocking spot I wanted to highlight is going to be here on the left. I'm going to roll down my window and give you a quick view. There's somebody in one of the spots, so I'm not going to stay and linger. But as you can see, there's a spot right there, as well as another spot on the right, and those have picnic tables as well as fire pits. And then up here a little bit further on the left, you're going to find another spot. Okay, about a quarter mile past that first site that I just showed you, I'm going to come, and this will be the entrance to the next site. Let me get over here and give you a quick glimpse of this. This is actually has an in and out, so you can enter on one side and come out the other. A beautiful site back there. Maybe I'll drive back there real quick and show you guys. Boots on the ground, if you will. Yeah, look at this spot, folks. Can't beat that for a view. And you can go a little bit further down that road as well to the right and find some more spots. But I'll continue on down the main road. Okay, off to the left here, you'll see a couple of old barns and homesteads, as well as right here by the road, you're gonna see a couple dilapidated, unfortunately have collapsed. This is the old mining town of Bonanza, and we are about 1 mile, or less than a mile, you can actually see it, from the Yankee Fork Gold Dredge, so I'll take you up here and show you that. And there's a few more really nice boondocking sites beyond the dredge, between the dredge and the Ghost Town of Custer, which is about a mile away from here. One of the nice things about this area right here by the dredge is they've got a huge parking lot that you can come and turn around in if you need to go back and scout another area. So yeah, definitely check out the dredge. This is the 85th anniversary here on August 2nd of 2025, so they're gonna have free admission that day. They run on donations, so please think about visiting, you know, paying the $5 per person fee, buying some stuff in the gift shop, maybe leaving a little donation as well to help support those great people there at the dredge. All right, as you go past the dredge, there are going to be a couple more boondocking sites here, like I said, before you get to Custer Ghost Town. And then there are some more beyond Custer, but I'll show you those as we get to the overhead view on the inside with Google Maps. Okay, here to the right, there's a bunch of people in it right now, so I'm not gonna get down there and film, obviously, but there is a nice spot here to the right, and again, I'll point that out. One thing about this spot is, and I don't know if you'll be able to see with the GoPro mounted on the dash right now, but making this turn right in there is going to be very difficult. So I highly recommend that you just, if you want to, if that spot's open, that you go down to Custer and turn around, because Custer has a nice turnaround area that'll allow you to be coming south on Yankee Fork to then very easily go right into those boondocking sites there. There's another spot right here. I am going to show you that on the overhead as well. That one's a pretty narrow entrance. I would not suggest anything of, you know, regular 8.5 foot width. Try to get in there. So, you know, that's going to be a truck camper spot or a tent, etc. Here's another spot right here with a beautiful entrance right by the Puzzler Gulch sign. And again, there's a great spot there. But yeah, anything here in between the dredge and Custer is going to be a great spot for most RVs. But I highly encourage you, as I always do, come and scout the area. If you've got a towed car or something that, you know, or the nice thing is you're not yet in the wilderness, so you can fly your drone to go see if some of these sites are actually full or not. All right, I'm gonna pull off right here at the entrance to Custer City sign, but the town of Custer is just a little bit north of here. All right, folks, so that's kind of the drive through. There are some more spots north of Custer. I'll take you inside now and show you an overview. And don't leave. You know, we like to share all the resources available in the area. Water, dump, groceries, laundry, mail. There's not a lot here in Custer. I'm sorry, there's not a lot here in Stanley either. Sometimes you got to drive into Challis, but I'm going to share them with you. I've researched them, so I'll take you inside right now. Don't leave. Welcome back. So we are now inside, and I'm going to give you an overview of the resources available, as well as some of the sweet camping spots here along Yankee Fork. So for a point of reference, we've got the state of Idaho right here. And I'm going to zoom into this area. A lot of these other pins here are from our previous videos, so make sure you check out thewanderingsshores.com. We have a free interactive map, and you'll find out all the spots over there. But let's zoom into this area outside of Stanley. All of the green flags are going to be campsites that we've either shown you in the video or I kind of want to do an overview of, and then we're going to get into the actual stars and what are some of the resources available in the area. So from Stanley to Sunbeam is probably about a 30-minute drive, and then about a 15-minute drive back on mostly 5 miles of pavement, and then on to about 4 miles of well-maintained gravel road. So let me go to the satellite view here and zoom in and show you a few of these spots as you're driving north on Yankee Fork Road. You're going to start to see, even in the overview, there was an RV in those areas right there. And again, these pins are going to be in the video description. Zoom in right there. Some of the more prime spots that are a little bit closer up here to the Yankee Fork Gold Dredge. We stopped by and showed you some of these spots here in the video. So, you know, this one, I believe that's all lumber, but that lumber has all been moved, so it's not there. That's a nice little turnaround with several campsites there. And then we go a little bit further down Yankee Fork. There's another spot there. You can see there's a photo in the satellite view. As we drive in, north of Yankee Fork Gold Dredge, we find some of the campsites. This is the one I talked about, where if you're coming north on Yankee Fork, you're going to want to go down maybe to this area down here near Custer, there is a turnaround that is pretty wide. Yep, there it is. Right there's the turnaround. So you can turn around and head yourself back going south to be able to better access this boondocking area. As you can see, it's quite extensive. There is a space for a lot of folks. And a little bit more north, there's one there's one there. So those are the primary boondocking spots. I'm going to put links to the video in the video description to all of those GPS links. But let's talk about some of the stars that I have. While you're in the area, you might as well go check out Yankee Fork Gold Dredge. Super interesting history here. Talks about all of the mining that went along the river, and all of the tailings that you saw as we were driving in on the route in the vehicle. And then the Ghost Town of Custer has a super interesting, and as you can see here, there are still several of the buildings standing. This is the general store where you can kind of check in right there. There's an old homestead there. There's the old museum right there. There is just the old schoolhouse, I think, which is that. I think this was one of these was a home. I can't remember all of them as we went through them a couple weeks ago, but highly recommend checking out Custer and Yankee Fork. Super reasonable. I think it's like $5 for an adult to get into Yankee Fork Gold Dredge, but they do really operate primarily on donations, so I highly encourage you to buy stuff in the gift shop. Leave a donation. They're wonderful people. Now let's go a little bit further as you go back out towards 75, Idaho 75. You're going to come right here to this. This is the Sunbeam Hot Springs. I highly recommend you checking that out. Oh, sorry, I think I got it into the wrong format. But there's hot springs all along 75 here. I'm not going to go through all of those. You're here for the resources. So let's talk about the resources. Most of the resources are going to be available in Stanley. Now, I will tell you right now, they are limited, folks. Really, the only gas station in town is the Mountain Village Resort gas station. Expect to pay at least $1 more per gallon to buy gas there, but it is really the only show in town. They also do have non-ethanol gas. You can also get propane filled there. Let me zoom out into, well, I think I'm in, there we go. There is a propane fill station right there, so you can get propane. And around back, there is actually potable water and a dump station. Oh, I'm sorry, I think just potable water back there. So you can check that out. While you're in town, the Postal Service does do general delivery, and don't miss some of the, you can see 4.7 rating. Papa Bruni's Pizza, amazing. Stanley Baking Company and Cafe is also fantastic. Here in Stanley Pioneer Park, there is a water spigot. You can't really get your RV to it, but if you've got a bucket or, something you need to fill up a water jug, you can definitely do it there. A little bit further south, let me go back to the layers here. This is going to be the ranger station. There is a dump station and water available here. There's some confusing information on how much it costs, but I think it's $5, but it could be free. So be sure to give them a check. Check iOverlander. They typically are more updated when it comes to resources like that in the area. And then a little bit further towards Redfish Lake, you've got public showers as well as a laundry facility right there. But this is the dump station there near Redfish Lake. I will tell you, in our old video that we referenced, where we took you to Salmon River spots 1 through 3, this was a free dump station. That's no longer. It's now $12 to dump here at Redfish Lake. Like everything else, the cost is going up. So unfortunately, that one is no longer free, but is an option for you. Groceries, folks. Unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with having to buy groceries in town at the Mountain Village Mercantile, and it is highway robbery. I'll just be honest. It's a captive audience. This town only has 100 people in it, during the off season, so they have to pay a lot to get groceries in there. So you're going to end up paying, your firstborn child in order to buy groceries. So if you don't want to buy groceries there, your really best option then would be to drive into Challis, which is about an hour or so from the boondocking sites east. Let me see. Right there is Challis. There is a grocery store in town called, I know right where it is. Let me see. There it is, Lamb's Market. They're a pretty nice grocery store for a small town. So that is probably your best option. If you drive to Salmon, you're looking at probably a 2-hour drive to get up to Saveway, I think it's called, up there. So just, I would try to get most of your groceries before you come into town. So I hope this information is helpful. As we always do, we put the links in the video description. Check out thewanderingshores.com, where we have an interactive map and we show you all of the best boondocking sites that we've found in almost our 5 years full-time on the road. See you next week, everyone.